We stand at the precipice of a new human frontier. What you are witnessing is not chaos, but a profound pattern of biological events. Intense joy, overwhelming grief, sudden clarity, moments that shatter our perception of reality. These are not random occurrences, they are data points. For decades, these events, labeled as spiritual or transformative experiences, were relegated to the realm of anecdote. But what if we could decode them? What if there was a forensic framework to analyze the most profound moments of human existence? Today, we introduce that framework, the Biological Transformation Protocol. This is not a spiritual guide, it is a scientific investigation into the mechanics of human change. We are moving beyond belief and into the hard science of transformation. We will dissect these moments, not to diminish their power, but to understand their origin, their impact, and their implications for every single one of us. This protocol is a systematic inquiry, applying rigorous analytical techniques to experiences that have, until now, defied explanation. We will examine the undeniable physical markers left behind by these encounters, treating them as a forensic scientist would treat evidence at a scene. Every gesture, every vocal shift, every subtle change in physiology tells a story, and we are here to read it. Our journey begins by establishing a baseline, a control against which the extraordinary can be measured. What you see are individuals in their everyday state, their movements, their expressions, their vocal tones, all within a predictable range. This is the biological norm. But then something happens, a trigger, an event, a realization. The baseline shatters, and in its place, a new set of biological signatures emerges. These signatures are the core of our investigation. They are the keys to unlocking the Biological Transformation Protocol. Our first stage of analysis is the Biological Decoding Protocol. We move from the macro experience to the micro expressions of the body itself. We begin with a phenomenon we term postural guarding. Before a significant transformative event, subjects often exhibit a closed, protective posture. Shoulders are rounded, the torso is constricted, and movement is minimized. This is the body's unconscious attempt to shield the vital organs, a primal response to perceived psychological threat or deep-seated uncertainty. It's a physical manifestation of an internal state of defense. Following the event, we observe a radical shift. The posture opens, the spine elongates, and gestures become more expansive and fluid. This isn't a conscious choice. It is the nervous system recalibrating, signaling a fundamental shift from a state of threat to a state of safety and openness. The body is literally broadcasting its new internal reality. Next, we analyze the gaze, specifically what our research identifies as the deep field gaze. Pre-transformation, eye contact is often fleeting. Saccadic movements are rapid, and the focus tends to be peripheral. This indicates a mind in a state of high alert, constantly scanning for external validation or potential danger. Post-transformation, the gaze stabilizes, the eyes settle, focus becomes direct yet relaxed, and pupil dilation can remain steady even under varied lighting. This deep field gaze signifies a shift from external scanning to internal coherence. The individual is no longer looking for answers outside themselves. They are accessing a deep internal state of knowing. It is a physiological marker of profound cognitive and emotional integration. Finally, within the Biological Decoding Protocol, we examine vocal prosody. The human voice is an incredibly sensitive barometer of our neurological state. Before the transformative experience, vocal patterns are often characterized by a narrow pitch range, inconsistent volume, and a faster, more clipped cadence. These are the acoustic signatures of anxiety and cognitive dissonance. The vocal cords are tense, reflecting the tension in the nervous system. After the event, the entire vocal apparatus relaxes. The voice deepens in a resonant frequency, the pitch range expands, and the cadence becomes slower, more deliberate, and rhythmically consistent. This change is not about the content of what is said, but the music of how it is said. This new vocal signature demonstrates a brain and body that have achieved a state of harmony, moving from dissonance to consonance. Each of these biological markers, postural guarding, the deep field gaze, and vocal prosody, provides a layer of empirical data. When analyzed together, they form a cohesive, multi-layered portrait of a human being undergoing a fundamental biological and neurological shift. These are not subjective interpretations. They are measurable, repeatable observations that form the bedrock of our protocol. By decoding these signals, we move the study of transformative experience from the abstract to the concrete, from the philosophical to the physiological. We are mapping the very language of human evolution in real time. The heart of our investigation lies in the core analysis, where we deploy a critical tool: incongruence detection. Incongruence is the gap between what a person says and what their body communicates. It is the conflict between the conscious mind and the autonomic nervous system. Our forensic software analyzes multiple data streams simultaneously: verbal content, microfacial expressions, vocal stress indicators, and body language. Before a transformative event, we consistently find high levels of incongruence. A subject might say, "I'm fine," while their voice exhibits high-frequency tremors and their facial muscles show fleeting expressions of sadness or fear. This conflict is neurologically expensive. It consumes vast amounts of cognitive resources as the brain attempts to manage and suppress competing signals. This internal conflict is a primary source of chronic stress and psychological fatigue. It's a state of being at war with oneself. Our software visualizes this conflict using a heads-up display, overlaying biometric data onto the video footage. Red flags indicate a mismatch between verbal statements and non-verbal cues. We can see the exact moments where the brain is struggling to maintain a coherent narrative. The transformative event acts as a powerful resolution mechanism for this incongruence. Post-event, we see a dramatic drop in these conflict markers. The verbal and non-verbal channels align. The statement, "I am at peace," is now accompanied by a relaxed facial structure, a stable heart rate, and a resonant vocal tone. The war is over. This alignment is what we call the truth axis. The truth axis is not a measure of universal truth, but of personal, biological integrity. It represents a state where an individual's thoughts, words, and physiological responses are in complete alignment. We can visualize this axis using advanced neurological imaging. High-resolution fMRI scans of subjects in a state of high incongruence show chaotic and inefficient brain activity. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive function, is in overdrive, attempting to mediate conflicting signals from the amygdala, the brain's fear center, and the limbic system. The resulting data charts show jagged, unpredictable energy expenditure. Now look at the scans of a subject who has established their truth axis. The brain activity is remarkably different. It's not that there is less activity, but the activity is highly coherent and efficient. We see synchronized wave patterns, particularly between the prefrontal cortex and the insula, which is involved in self-awareness and interoception, the sense of the internal state of the body. The energy expenditure is smooth and rhythmic. The brain is no longer fighting itself. It is operating as a unified, integrated system. This state of alignment along the truth axis has profound implications. It is the neurological foundation for authenticity, clarity, and decisive action. When an individual is on their truth axis, they are operating from a place of deep biological honesty. Their actions become a direct expression of their core internal state, free from the friction of self-deception or internal conflict. This is the ultimate goal of the biological transformation protocol, to identify and quantify this shift from a state of internal conflict to one of profound, measurable integrity. What we have been observing is more than just a psychological shift. It is a fundamental process of neurological rewiring. These spirituality transformative experiences, or STEs, act as a catalyst for neuroplasticity on a massive scale. Think of the nervous system as a complex network of pathways. Chronic stress and incongruence carve deep, inefficient ruts in this network, reinforcing patterns of anxiety, fear, and defense. An STE acts like a system-wide reset. It floods the brain with a unique cocktail of neurochemicals that temporarily dissolves these old, rigid pathways. This creates a window of opportunity for the brain to forge new, more efficient, and more coherent connections. Abstract neural network animations can help us visualize this process. The old network, tangled and chaotic, dissolves in a flash of light. From this, a new network emerges, elegant, ordered, and highly interconnected. This isn't just a metaphor. We see this reflected in biological reaction diagrams. The process often involves a downregulation of the amygdala, reducing the brain's sensitivity to threat and an upregulation of activity in regions associated with empathy, connection, and self-awareness, like the temporoparietal junction. This rewiring explains the observable changes in behavior. The footage of subjects post-transformation reveals a consistent pattern. They exhibit a newfound sense of calm, even in previously stressful situations. Their focus is sharper, their decision-making is more intuitive, and they report a deep sense of purpose and connection to the world around them. This is not a placebo effect. It is the direct result of a nervous system that has been re-architected for optimal function. The STE has provided the blueprint, and the brain's inherent plasticity has done the construction. The result is a human being who is more resilient, more integrated, and more aligned with their own biological truth. In summary, the biological transformation protocol provides a scientific lens through which to view the deepest human experiences. We have moved from the broad montage of human emotion to a granular analysis of its physical expression. Through the biological decoding protocol, we learned to read the body's language. The shift from postural guarding to openness, the emergence of the deep field gaze signifying internal coherence, and the transformation of vocal prosody from dissonant to resonant. In our core analysis, we quantified the critical shift from internal conflict to biological integrity using incongruence detection. This led us to define the truth axis, a state of measurable alignment between mind, body, and expression, visualized through coherent brain activity. We then understood how these experiences trigger a profound neurological rewiring, creating a more resilient and integrated nervous system. This is not theory, it is observable, measurable data. Now, we invite you to become an observer in your own life. We call it the 7-Day Observation Challenge. For 1 week, simply notice. Notice moments of congruence and incongruence in yourself and others. Observe posture, listen to vocal tones, and pay attention to the gaze. You don't need to change anything. Simply gather your own data. What patterns do you see? This is the first step in applying the principles of the protocol to your own experience. To learn more and share your observations, visit our website. Thank you for joining us on this investigation. Don't forget to subscribe for future updates.